Today, I want to personally invite you to listen to a story that's equal parts inspiring and insightful. Hi, I'm Debra Pascali-Bonaro, founder and director of Orgasmic Birth and host of the Orgasmic Birth podcast. Joining me is Mina Skandari, a mother, an award-winning author, a true advocate for empowering women through the birth experience. Mina's journey is one of passion and purpose. As the Young Inspirational Woman of the Year of 2021, a mother of two, and the founder of the Skandari Foundation, she's dedicated her life to helping others thrive. She's also an aspiring doula, driven by her love for supporting mothers and helping them to replace fear with confidence on their birth journey. So it's a pleasure, Mina, to welcome you to our podcast today.
Thank you so much, Deborah, for having me. It's also a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Well, we're excited to have you here because I know you had some pretty special births, and I'd love to kind of take you back to that first pregnancy and ask a little bit about how you were feeling, how you were preparing, and then about how that led to your birth.
Definitely. Becoming a mother for the first time and finding out you're pregnant, it's exciting. And at the same time, I was extremely nervous and I had no experience. I had no idea what to expect. So I was actually feeling really scared, and I had so much fear about giving birth because I had no idea what to expect. And unfortunately, what we see, it's pretty scary what the media tries to portray about birth, and other mothers who share their stories sometimes can be negative. And as a mother to be and being pregnant for the first time, that can be scary. So finding out for me was really exciting. I was so happy that I'm going to become a mum. So I did everything I could to prepare, to understand what to expect. I was very young. I was only 24 when I had my first baby. And it led me to finding a hypnobirthing educator who actually prepared me and told me about the magical journey of birth. And it took my fear away, and I felt so in control and so confident that I believe that I could even as my first pregnancy, I could even give birth at home. Like, that's how confident I became from remembering how scared I was to how I felt after taking those hypnobirthing classes was a huge difference in my experience.
I'm so glad to hear because that is, as you said, the big journey, right? So many people have so much
Yeah,
fear about birth. And if we let
yeah,
fear drive the experience, it can take you in directions that can be not exactly what you desire. So good
exactly.
for you that you took such a good class. And I do want to say, I think hypnobirthing does prepare you so well. But people might be listening going, what's hypnobirthing? Can you like
Mhm.
describe it a little bit?
Exactly. So it's a technique. I This is my understanding. Now there could be much more to it. So what I understood from hypnobirthing classes, it's a technique to put you into the hypnosis stage where you're basically using breathing techniques to go through the waves, to go through the contractions. And I believe it was about learning how to maintain, how to go through that birth process and understanding that you're not suffering. You're actually supposed to have those contractions. You're supposed to go through that beautiful process, that beautiful journey to meet the love of your life, to meet your baby. So I see it as mindfulness, preparing your mind spiritually, psychologically to, prepare yourself for birth. So it's all about the mindset, breathing techniques, and dealing with it naturally. Yeah.
Yeah. Great description. I couldn't agree with you more. And, our mind is so powerful, right? So when
Mhm.
we learn techniques
It
that put our mind at ease and give us confidence, it's a real win-win. So take us into, you've had this great preparation. What was labor and birth like for you? Did you end up giving birth at home? Tell us a bit about where and how the birth unfolded.
Oh, definitely. So the first experience, I will be honest, like the first time, even though I prepared so much and we were told how the contractions are going to feel when they first start, what the distance between the next contraction is. So we were told what to expect, right? So I had an idea of what the contractions were going to feel like, how long it was probably going to take. So the first time was pretty, I would say it was intense, but I stayed home for the first 8 hours. So the first 8 hours, I was at home, breathing, waving side to side, doing all those movements to try and speed up the process. And when it got really intense to the point where I was told, like, okay, if you think you need to go to the hospital, you're more than welcome to. So when the contractions were very close in distance, I then went to the hospital and stayed there. And when I first got there, obviously I wasn't a big fan of the maternity system from the beginning, based on the research I did. So I was like very confident. I had a voice and I specifically gave them my birth plan and I told them, look, make sure that all the midwives read it. And when I got to the hospital, I gave them my birth plan and I said, look, please make sure all the midwives read the birth plan and please don't ask me too many questions. Just let me be in this beautiful process. If it's nothing too serious, if it has nothing to do with any major like checkups, then don't interfere. Just let me be. And I asked them to dim the lights down and basically leave the room because I didn't want any of my midwives to be around me. I just wanted to be there with me, my husband, and my mum, who were my support. And it was actually due to their support that I did it. And when I got there, I was not on the bed because obviously I don't believe that women should be laying down on their back when the gravity pushes on their back and all the pressure goes there and it's more painful. So I was standing up, I was active the whole time, walking around, holding my husband's shoulder for support, and I was under the hot shower. So there was hot water on my back, like warm water running on my back, and I had a hot water bottle. My husband was holding on my stomach, so I could deal with the contractions basically. And when he one negative experience, even though I was very confident, I knew what I wanted. I made sure there's no interventions. I made sure they don't suggest any interventions because I was in my own zone, so focused, and I didn't want them to distract me. So I said, please just, I want this to be positive. But the one thing that really, really shocked me was when one of the midwives came and said, I was there for about 5 hours and she was saying, you're nowhere near. I said, can you turn the tap on? I feel that the baby's about to come. She said, no, darling, you're nowhere near. I said, it's my body. I know I can feel it. Turn the water on. And she kept saying, but you're nowhere near. Like you were just like 5 centimeters dilated. So I said, I trust my body. And she actually came and saw, okay, the head's there. She could see the crowning. So she quickly turned the water on. And that kind of like discouraged me when she first said, you're nowhere near. And I quickly said, okay, I'm not going to let her negative comments get to me. I know my body. I said this to myself, I know my body. I can feel it. I can feel this pressure. So they turned the water on and I got in. Within an hour and 20 minutes, my daughter was born in the water and I was the one who carried her and I put her up on my chest. And I said, I need her to be with me. There's no chance you're taking her away for any observations or anything. Keep her with me. So it was just so beautiful. And I'm not going to say that it was easy because I don't want mothers to be or people who are expecting to think, oh, it was very easy. Like it sounds beautiful. Yes, it was beautiful. But the contractions, yes, it is a lot of pressure. It's so much, it's intense. But if you have a positive mindset and you have techniques to use to tolerate the contractions, then you're going to be okay because once the baby's born, you're going to get so much oxytocin that you're going to forget everything and it becomes this beautiful experience. That was what happened for me for my first experience.
Yeah. Are you curious about enhancing pleasure and easing discomfort in labor? Orgasmic Birth and Dame present the Pleasure Vibe Fin, a waterproof vibrator designed to empower your journey through pregnancy, birth, and beyond. boost your oxytocin, ease discomfort naturally, and transform your birth into an empowered and even orgasmic experience. Plus, support postpartum healing and reconnect with your body. Are you ready to embrace the power of pleasure? Click below, learn more, and start your transformation today. Oh, thank you, Mina. And I really appreciate that you talk. It is intense, right? It's
Yes,
pressure. There can be challenge, but you did so amazing to make sure that you had that birth plan, that your voice was heard, and that you
was.
really trusted your body. So, really beautiful how you were really listening to what you needed and what your baby needed so that you could birth in the way that you desired.
Yeah,
So, what's the span between your children? How much time?
2 years.
2 years. So take us through that time when you decided that you wanted to welcome another little one into your family. Is there
Mm.
anything you did different that pregnancy, and how did that birth kind of unfold?
Yeah, my second birth was beautiful. It was a surprise. I mean, we did plan to have a second one. It was all planned. And because I enjoyed motherhood, I'm not going to say it was easy again. Motherhood is challenging as well. But when you have a positive mindset, you enjoy it to the fullest. You're intentionally parenting, you're intentionally a mother. Like you're enjoying every moment and you're sucking everything in. So for me, because I loved my journey to motherhood, I planned my second baby. And it was different. Second time, um, I was extra active, walking more than I did on my first pregnancy, carrying my daughter on my shoulder, and I had like my big bump. It was doing grocery shopping. It was like you're a super mom. So I could do all that. And I went to swimming at least once a week, especially during my last few weeks. I made sure that I'm active because I wanted another natural birth, of course. And I've always been passionate about home birth, actually. That's something that I've always loved. And I've always thought how fascinating, how empowering to be able to birth your baby at home. For the first pregnancy, actually, I did want a home birth, and my midwife was saying, "You're high risk. You have gestational diabetes. You couldn't do that." So I actually felt discouraged because it was my first experience. And I said, "Oh, okay." And she said, "Plus, it's expensive." So here in Australia, I think it's around roughly $10,000 to plan a home birth, to have the midwives come in, do the checkups and everything. So it's about 10 grand. And I got discouraged and I said, okay, it's okay. I'll do as much as I can when I'm at home and I'll go to the hospital when I need to. Second pregnancy was like, no, 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 you got this under control. You've done it once, you can do it again. So I always dreamt to have my second birth as a home birth. And they were actually instilling a little bit of fear in me because the estimated due date they gave me, I kept on pushing it back. I said, no, give me 14 more days. And they said, no, we can push it to 12. So I had 12 extra days based on their assumption, based on their estimate, which obviously it's not always accurate. It's only 5% accurate, the estimated due dates. So I confidently said to the hospital, no, I'm not going to get induced. You're going to give me 12 days because I know my baby's going to come when he's ready. And they were saying, we're doing an ultrasound. We can see that your baby's a big baby and you're very small. And I was eating a lot of healthy food, especially during the last few weeks. I was going heavy on dates, like eating dates, which I've researched that it's really good for you. And after the 12 days, that that morning I went to the swimming pool with my kid, with my daughter and my husband. And then that night, that afternoon, actually, I had an appointment to get a checkup. And when they did the checkup, they said, "Oh my God, like you're in labor, you're 4 centimeters dilated. Are you not in pain?" I said, "No, just a little bit of discomfort, a bit of Braxton Hicks contractions, but nothing major." That night when I slept, I could feel contractions starting. And when I woke up, it was 12 o'clock midnight and it was intense contractions. What I mean is, it was very, very quick. Is it okay if she's here?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. It's about their birth, so
Yeah.
they're coming
It
to
was,
listen.
Yeah, it was very I could feel that it was very intense, the contractions for my second pregnancy. And I said to my husband, this is different. This is more there's it's quicker. The contractions are happening faster, so I think it's close. Within an hour and 30 minutes, my son was born at home. He just came out. He he just
Wow.
he just came out within an hour and 30 minutes of going through labor. And I knew I had a feeling that that's what was going to happen because a week before I had a dream that I'm giving birth in my bedroom. And I said to my husband, how crazy would it be if it actually happened? And he said, I'll have a heart attack. Like, I would be so scared if you give birth at home. I said, I'll be fine. I'll be happy. So when it happened, he kept on dragging me. Let's go to the hospital. I said, no, I can't. I can feel he's about to come. It's too late. And I held onto the chair and I went down and I did the squat position just like I did for my daughter. And when he came, I grabbed him and he was a heavy baby. He was 4 kilos. He was a heavy baby. And I just grabbed him and I sat down and I just put him on my chest. And my husband's on the phone to the hospital, to the ambulance, like, get here now. I'm like, just calm down. I'm fine. I'm happy. He's fine. He's breathing. I'm not in pain anymore. And within 40 minutes, the paramedics came and they were in awe. And I'm like, but this is so normal. And they were shocked. Wow, you had a home birth. How did it happen? Like, they were just shocked. And I said, this is normal. Our great grandparents have done this. They were very surprised when they came.
What a beautiful story. And to hear
Yeah.
your strength and confidence, how does your husband feel today about it? Was he
He
feeling
was very
good when it
supportive.
unfolded?
Yeah. He was very supportive.
Yeah.
And thank God for the hypnobirthing classes. It really prepared him because I think more than the mother, the birth part, like the birth support partner, whoever's coming with you to the birth room has to be prepared more than you because when you're in that zone, you're so focused and you need someone to push you that you can do this. Because for the first time, first pregnancy, I was at the edge where I was saying, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I was exhausted. I was tired. And he kept saying, you can do this. I believe in you, babe. I believe in you, babe. And he kept on like massaging my shoulders, trying to make sure that I'm okay. And honestly, if it wasn't for his support, I don't think I could have done it. He was very supportive and very positive. He kept on encouraging me, giving me that confidence every time I felt like I couldn't do it anymore, that you can do it. And when the baby was born at home, he was really shocked. But afterwards, he said, I can't believe that happened. Like, you're a super mom. Like, how did you do it? Like, you were not even scared. He said he kept on accusing me that you planned this. You planned this. I know you planned it. You refused to go. I said, how can I plan for 1 hour and 30 minutes? That's not enough time. So now he believes me, but in the beginning he kept saying, you planned to give birth at home, like on your own, like you planned this. And I kept saying, no, 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 it wasn't planned. It just happened.
Yeah.
Like
Nature.
in my subconscious mind, I knew it was happening.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that it was going to happen.
And I love that you had the dream too, like
I
all of
haven't
that
seen
kind
the
of.
week. Yeah, it was a sign. I'm a believer. It was a sign from God. I feel like God was telling me, like, this is going to happen, just a heads up. And I had the dream, and a week later, that actually happened.
Yeah. It's so beautiful, Mina, to hear your stories and your confidence and how much you and your, husband prepared. And we're getting to see your two beautiful children. For
Yeah,
those who are listening, they don't realize that they're right
yeah,
there listening to their birth stories and sharing in the joy and the love, which is
yeah,
so special. I'd
it
love to
is.
ask you there, I'm sure people are listening that have their own fears, that are getting ready for their first birth. And this may be, women or partners and that. What's some recommendations or advice you would have for them in preparing?
Yeah. A lot of mothers that I've spoken to, like my daughter's preschool friends, we shared our birth stories recently, like just a week ago. And most mothers are saying, I was too scared to even research. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. So I let it be and I went with the flow. And I said, oh no, look, I actually think, because I was in your shoes, I said, I was in your shoes. I can relate. I can empathize. I was scared. I was extremely scared when I first found out I was pregnant. And I always feed birth because of what I saw on TV. Women are screaming, laying on their backs, and it's horrifying. They traumatize you. So I said, I think it's best to actually research. You need to prepare. And there's a page that I follow, it's called Train for Birth. And I think birth is something you need to train for. You can't, I don't think it's very thoughtful to just go with the flow, because if you don't know how intense the contractions are going to be, when it happens to you and you've never prepared, you've never really researched or went into what birth looks like, and you're only going by what your mother or someone else has told you or shared the negative story, you're going to be probably screaming, probably not being able to tolerate the pain, and you might even be asking for the midwives to interfere and like make it easier for you, because you might be under the impression that, oh, I'm suffering, help me get out of this suffering. But you're not. You're, you need to prepare. My advice is prepare, take birth classes, especially like hypnobirthing classes, really prepares you and makes you more mindful, how to prepare yourself psychologically, like mindfully, how to prepare for birth. So my advice would be to definitely take into account that you need to prepare. So take classes, do your research, and try to prepare yourself on how to, if you wish to give natural birth, how to give natural birth, because it's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful process that our bodies are meant to go through. But then again, the maternity system came and interfered, and at times it's necessary. I'm not going to say that, oh, they're not there to support women. Yes, there are complications. Things don't always go to plan. I'm lucky that my plan went ahead and everything went up to my standards, but not every woman experiences this. I've had people where they've tried their best, they've done everything they could to have a natural birth, and they had to go to emergency C-section. So complications can happen. And yes, the hospital is there to support you, but a lot of the times they can instill stress, and like they can actually make you feel fearful about birth because they focus on the negative. So prepare yourself, make yourself very confident, make sure that you know your options, you know your what the pros and the cons are. You have to ask a lot of questions. Don't go by everything the midwives say. They don't always know everything, because it's your body and everyone's body is different. So gain that confidence to understand your body and make sure they respect what you want. Have your voice heard. Make sure you have that confidence. Build that confidence up until the end of your pregnancy. Yeah.
Beautiful advice. So I have one last question for you. We call what your birth was an orgasmic birth, a birth that's in power, that's love, that's in your voice, in your options, right? A lot of people hear it and think it's something else, but it's really for each person to define. What would you say about that word orgasmic birth? Is that something that helps support you? Would you recommend? How can people really connect to their bodies with love in that way that we call orgasmic?
Yeah, I think it really, really helps you feel connected to your natural instinct. It really gives you support to believe that what your great 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 grandparents or grandmother did, your body's capable, because that's how your body was designed. So it can really give you support. And I think like doulas are there to support you, to be there to push you and say like, you can do this, like I believe in you, you're going to meet your baby soon, you're there, you're going to make it. So I think it does really, really give you that courage.
Thank you. Well, I know people would love to follow you or find you. Can you share about how people can be in touch with you?
Definitely. So, like I said, I have dreamt of becoming a doula since I had my daughter. So it's been 5 years, and this journey is going to begin very soon. I can sense it. So my Instagram page, it is private, but it's Mina Skandari, Mina.Skandari, and my the foundation that I founded is Skandari Foundation. So you can connect with me or our foundation on Instagram, and that's how you can find. And if you had any questions about my birth experience or any advice that you want to hear, I'm more than happy to help any mother to be.
Thank you so much, Mina, for joining us today. And I have to say, hopefully, we're going to make your dream to be a doula come true. We're
It
about to
will.
notify winners of our doula contest, and we definitely want to offer you a special gift to be a part of our doula workshop if it works for you.
That would
So,
be
yeah.
that would be amazing.
So we'll be in touch soon, but thank you for joining us today. And thank you to all our podcast listeners. We always appreciate hearing your voice. What were some of the things you're taking away? And we so appreciate if you can rate and review us, so that will help us reach more people. And please share this episode with friends that you know will benefit from such an empowering and inspirational birth stories, two of them. So thank you again, Mina, and it's been a real pleasure to meet your family and see your children too.
Thank you so much for having me, Deborah. It was amazing to talk about what I love, my obsession with birth. It was a beautiful experience, and thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it. And it was
Thank
lovely to meet you.
Lovely
So
to meet you
lovely.
too. Thank you, everyone.